Well, I think in a word, the music of Mozart's Cosi fan tutte is sublime. Um, Audiences are usually very familiar with the music from Marriage of Figaro and Don Giovanni, and perhaps less so with Cosi fan tutte. I mentioned those three because these are the three operas that were collaborations between Mozart and Da Ponte, the librettist. And Cosi fan tutte is the third of the trilogy, and it is so sophisticated in its writing. Beautiful, yes, undeniable. There's some of the greatest music he ever wrote, probably in Cosi fan tutte. Even though of the three operas, it's probably the produced the least often. It is sublime, it is funny, it is sophisticated in a way that is almost 100 years ahead of its time. Mozart uses compositional devices in this work, Cosi fan tutte, which are about 100 years ahead of its time. For instance, it's the only opera of his where in the last act, as things are being revealed in the plot, he brings back music, direct quotes from the first act, and quotes arias and numbers from the characters to sort of bring it around. Now this device, we are so used to in the 21st century because it's a device that Puccini used in all of his operas, whether it's Butterfly or Tosca, certainly Wagner, and even every musical that you hear these days, whether it's Phantom of the Opera or Les Mis, uses this device of returning music. But at the time it was new, and Mozart was always breaking new ground with theatrical and musical devices, and it's pretty amazing the way he does it. It's a unique piece in the way because at first blush it seems so cynical, the story, and even the music reflecting the story. Basically, the premise being that all women in the right circumstances will be unfaithful, to put it politely. And it seems so superficial and cynical at the beginning, but then, and it's hilarious in Act 1. In Act 2, it's not quite the party that it was in Act 1, and we start seeing the doubt and even the hurt that the characters feel. They become more human. And the contrast between the almost slapstick comedy of it and yet the very human side of it is one of the remarkable ways that Mozart takes the text, and just as a film director takes a point of view and manipulates the audience, I think that's what Mozart does with the music. He makes you feel the uncertainty or the pain that the characters feel. There are certain characters, for instance, the women, seem to be musically more sophisticated than the men. Donna Anna, I'm sorry, not Donna Anna. Fior di Ligi has one of the most amazing arias. It's about 6 minutes long, called Per Pietà. And it's sophisticated in its form, the length of it. It's also sophisticated in its orchestration, which is very much, while she is singing, there are obligatos and counterpoints by the wind section of the orchestra, almost cadenzas for the French horns, the clarinets, and the flutes. His use of wind writing in Cosi fan tutte is probably even more superb than it is in Giovanni or Figaro. We have a wonderful cast here. First of all, they're young. They're all gorgeous. They all sound beautiful. For instance, the casting that Chris Montagliano has done here is wonderful. The Fior di Ligi and Dorabella, the characters Lauren and Angela, they, in our first day of rehearsal, they already sound like sisters. Their blend is so good. They also physically look like they could be sisters. The Guglielmo and Ferrando, who are Keith and Ryan, also, the blend is just amazing how in their ensembles and their duets together. We have Robert Orth, who's with us, who is an old friend of the company here, I understand. He's been to Portland many times, and he'll probably try to steal the show. He's one of the great singing actors. And Christine Brandis, of course, is here as Despina, and she will be delightful. It's always good to be back in Portland. In fact, last time I was here, my wife and I rented bicycles, which the company provides, and we've become addicted to it, so we're completely into it. And even though it's January and it's rainy out there, I'm going to get a bicycle again this year. I want to bike to rehearsals and up to the Keller Theater. So I'm having a great time.